Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody today? Hey, Darlene, how you doing? Feels good. Feels good to be on today. Finally got that missing teeth in the front there fixed, and it feels good. I sound a little weird, but I'm getting used to it, and so I'm happy about that. It was a long road. I had a lot of work done, and so glad that that's over. Now I'm just waiting for people to fill up the chat. I think I'll pray right now. Father, please put a hedge of protection around this chat and around the people here and around me. Protect us from all evil influences and any kind of evil demon or any evil influence at all, and protect us and our families from the things going on in this world. And Father, also help us not to focus on our flesh, but only on your will for us, and to give us the strength and energy to carry that out. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you for saying, because I was going to ask, that was my next question, right? I pray for that all the time, Shannon, is to not think of myself and to desire to do His will, right? Because I used to pray in a way where, like, if I was in conflict, I would pray to be out of conflict in order to feel peace, you know? But now I pray to feel peace within that conflict, you know? And so I pray to desire His will for me instead of to pray to get out of things that He desires for me. And so if I have um, a natural energy and a natural urge to do the right thing, um, that's what I want, you know? And I think that's important. And I think, like, it's good to, like, get, to, I don't really get out of the house that often. I'm kind of a homebody. I do have a lot of stuff to do here, and it takes me all day to kind of do the stuff I need to do for the show anyway. And so, um, when I do get out, I notice, like, the same things over and over again. And it's like, I just remember how safe I felt when I was a kid, right? Um, I felt like that everything was under control, and that um, scientists were working on stuff, and the president was in charge, and my dad was protecting me, and all these things, right? But then when you get older, right, you're like, man, I'm really kind of disappointed in, like people, like, in not only in people but in myself, right? Like, man, I thought we had this more under control, but really nobody really knows what they're doing. I mean, even people that are able to people that are able to do their job really well, then, don't know the whole deal. Well, I don't know if Faith is going to be here right away, and so what I'll do is I'll give Darlene a wrench right now, uh, for now, and then we can get started. I can have Chris up here. I probably faded in and out there for a second, but that's part of the price of this here. Okay, let me give Darlene a wrench real quick. Okay. and maybe Alex will be here later. I'm not sure, but so the policy on this is no timeouts. It just goes straight to being hidden, and I'll unban people later. So that's the best way to do it, I think. And I'm gonna ask Chris to press the link, and then I'm gonna invite into the show. Then I need to take like a 20-second break. And so yeah, I'm excited about yeah, I'm disappointed in the world, but you know what? Like if we were focused on God this whole time, right? And had this hope inside of us this whole time, right? We wouldn't even be phased by this, right? We would still feel safe and protected like we did when we didn't know, when we weren't, when we didn't think about, um, it's like when we thought we were safe and when we thought we were taken care of by our parents and by people and scientists and politicians, right? Like before we knew, right, that the world was disappointing. So I was going down that road, right? And so like you get into a little bit of the negative talk, right? And then you realize, right, that if I knew the truth about God from the very beginning, right, from the very beginning, um, there would never be that period of disappointment where I'm like, wow, I really thought we had this more under control, because God always has it under control. And thank you, Shannon. And God has everything under control. Everything is fine, everything is rolling smooth. And it always has been. And we're meant to be exactly where we are. Everything in the world is, the way it's supposed to be. I mean, of course, we don't want people to be hurt or suffering anywhere. I mean, that part we all, as people, need to do our part and help out and you know, try to help as much as we can to prevent that kind of stuff, right? And but everything else was, purposely done, and we need to start blaming the bad guy for things. You know, it's not God's fault that man has chosen this degraded path. And God has a plan at the end, and its victory is in sight, and it's a choice that anybody can make, that anybody can have. And I don't think there could be a better scenario for if we're in this spot right now, right? To know that we have a way out. So let me invite Chris on. Oh, he popped off. He was on there for a second, and then he popped right off. I should have just clicked him right on there. He was on there for a second. Click on there again, Chris. That was good. You were on the right one. But either way, so while we're waiting for Chris, he did a good job this morning, I thought. Um, Poor guy had the sniffles, but that's not his fault. Um, hey, Chris, welcome to the show. How are you doing, buddy?
What's up, Bubba?
Yeah, I can hear you. That's
Sorry.
great, man. I like the
Yeah, I
picture,
don't.
man.
Yeah, I just put that in earlier because I didn't have anything on there.
That's pretty cool, man. I like it. See how you had to do kind of like what I did. I have this long, skinny head, right? And so I had to kind of angle my head to get it in the circle, as goofy as that sounds, but it looks like you did the same thing, so I don't feel quite as bad. I'm like, I have this head, right? That's from like, you ever seen Sesame Street, like Bert and
Yeah,
Ernie? I feel like
yeah.
Bert, Bert with that skinny head.
I got a
All
big
right,
head too. Don't worry
so
about it.
say hi to the people. I need to take like a 10-second break, okay?
Okay. Yep. What's up, guys? I have no idea how to see the chat. I don't know
Okay,
how.
so when you're in there, you need to okay, so click on private chat, and then click on comments instead of private chat. There's at the top left. Are you on your computer or your phone? Your phone.
Yeah, I'm on my phone. I have that option.
So okay, so like right now you're looking at the private chat. At the very top, there'll be it'll say community comments or something like that, or
No,
you know
it
you
must be
don't see it.
different on my phone. It's all
Yeah, it
good.
could be.
It's not a
It
big
could
deal.
be. I just need to take 10 seconds and I'll be right back. I'm gonna get a glass of water.
It's important, guys. Stay hydrated. Yeah, I listened to the show this morning afterwards, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, my headphones were picking that up so bad. My runny nose. I got a deviated septum, so it's so hard to breathe out of my right nostril. And yeah, that was horrible. I apologize." Anyways,
Yeah, not a huge big deal, buddy. It's like I
yeah,
mean, until we know because like there's a lot of things, right? When we started the show, we were like when you're on a microphone, right? You like to have good microphone discipline. Sometimes there's things you just don't think about, you know? Like you don't think about it rubbing on your shirt, or you don't think like how many times I say right and you know what I mean? Like you get into these bad habits that you're not aware of, right? And it happens, right? But when you have the sniffles, it's not your fault. That's not anything you can help, really.
yeah, it's just super bad, and it's for me in the mornings. And yeah, I mean, I got it right now, but not nearly like this morning. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But,
Well, hey, it's like this, right? So I started the stream talking about like um just how like people, when you finally understand like that really nobody knows what's going on in the world, and there's really not that many like politicians, right? It's not like when you're a kid you think the government's like this big thing, like, oh, the government, but like you can't really point to it and say, oh yeah, that's the government. It's like a couple hundred people, man. It's not it's not like what you think in your mind, what you picture, is like this big
not
blanket
at
over
all.
you or something. Yeah, it's like a handful of people, right? And you're like, oh, they're just like us. And my dad broke it down to me one time. He goes, listen, uh, he goes, if the average IQ or whatever is like 80, right? And if you're a little above that, right, that means that half the world is, not as smart, right? And so you're like, man, there's not anyone out there that's like much smarter than anybody else, right? Like there's people that are very, very smart, but they're not like, so smart that they have everything figured out, and it makes you kind of feel a little bit insecure. You're like, oh wow, man, like even Einstein, right? Like if that's a real story, right? IQ of 160 or whatever, right? Like and if he's not just some guy they gave a trophy to and made up some stuff, I don't know. But um it makes you think like, well, man, there's really nobody that's in charge, right? It's a handful of people that just are doing what they want, convincing you that the control structure is bigger, and so if we knew about God right from the very start, right? Now you probably had a little bit of a head start just because you were told about God probably as a kid, right? But
Yeah,
if you grow up without like any of that, right? It's like if we knew that God was in charge the whole time, right? I never would have reached that point where I was disappointed in the world. I would have been like, well, God's in charge, and so that's all that really matters.
absolutely. I think the government's just a stage just like everything else. So there's the people behind the scenes. You could call it the shadow government, the ones actually running things. Because there's no way Biden is in charge of our country. No way. I mean, him.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, there's just no way. Come on, pooping his pants, taking conferences. Like, come on, this guy is not running our country. It's
He could
somebody
barely
else.
he could barely talk, man. I mean, it's pretty sad. Like, I mean, if you look at like, I think the first time I realized that the president wasn't that smart was George Bush wasn't that smart. I was like, I think I might be smarter than this guy, right? Because Clinton was kind of sharp. I don't know. I mean, Obama was sharp, good speaker, I guess. But these last couple of people, it's like, and I know people fall in love with Trump, right? He's a pretty good character, I guess, because he's an outsider. But it's all a show. They're all they're all in bed together. But it get like the last president was like he knew 50 words, right? And then this new president can barely talk, like barely hold a conversation, right? So there's to answer your question, there's no possible way that Biden was running the country. There's no possible way.
No way. I mean, yeah, you gotta admit, I even fell for the cult of personality with Trump. Like
Yeah.
before Trump, I was like, I mean, before he won, I was like, there's no way he's gonna win. Gonna
Right.
win. They're gonna her. I never believed that they would actually give us the power to choose. And I always thought it was just a show. And then Trump won, and it made me question it because I was like, everybody hates this guy. Not everybody, but all
Yeah.
these people, like politicians, Nancy Pelosi, all these people just hated his guts.
The
And it made me think,
mainstream.
well, maybe it does work. Maybe our system, does work somewhat. But
Hey, I
it was
fell
all
for it too a little bit, to be honest. Like I fell for it too. It's like, oh yeah, wait, maybe we do have hope. This guy, he's an outsider. Maybe this is but then like you quickly realize like, oh man, he's doing all the same hand signs and goofy handshakes and stuff everybody else does.
yeah. He talked
And
good.
and I think like one thing that helped me was like the transvestigations, right? But I think that even beyond that, if that's uncomfortable to even look into, right? And for some people it is. I don't even like to really talk about it, but it is important to talk about, right? Because it's real, right? But another way is just to like look into their past is like see all these esoteric symbols, right? And know that okay, well if this person's an occultist, that's all I need to know, you know and while, the transgender thing, right, is like, okay, well, it's a good way to kind of tell who's an occultist and who's not. But if there's another way to tell, that's, I think, always better, like with the symbolism and, I guess the people that they've known in their history or whatever.
Oh, Michael Robinson. Mike Robinson. Obama. He'd be making, I seen so many slip ups. He'd be like, me and my Mike would like to think, me and my Mikey.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
many times.
yeah, because here's the thing, right? No matter how I felt about my wife, right? Like I would never like mess up and be like, her name was Sarah, right? There's no way I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, Samuel and me, we we were hanging out, like that's not something that I would do, right? Like I don't know how you would make a mistake like that. Like that's some deep rooted. His name was Michael. That's the only answer to that question. But then I was thinking
Yeah.
like, hey, you know what? Like even though I'm convinced, right, that this is Michael Obama, right? She really wasn't the worst looking first lady. I was like, yeah, well, she has it over a lot of them, huh?
You see that little sausage dangling while he
Oh
was dancing.
wow. Watch
Oh
your
my
mouth.
God. Sorry, yeah.
No,
Excuse my
no, no,
language.
no. I was telling myself that too because I was thinking the same thing.
Well,
You
you know
know,
those videos on like
hilarious.
Ellen show with Michelle
I do. I
dancing,
remember it.
and you see something just very odd just poking out. And it's kind of weird.
Yeah,
And
it
then
was. Yeah, I remember.
what's her name? What man, her name's right on the tip of my tongue. She's the one that like called it out on
Ellen.
the no that one lady that died supposedly during surgery.
Oh yeah, Joan Rivers.
Yes, Joan Rivers. She called it out. Just like telling those reporters, she's like, "It's not a big deal." Like, and then she suddenly dies in a weird way. But yet,
Yeah,
there's this video out there that looked like she's still alive. It's kind of crazy.
I mean, she
Have you
was.
seen those videos?
Yeah, but I mean, she was old even back then. Like, she had to have been in her 90s then. So if she's still alive, she's really old.
Yeah,
Like, so like I don't know. With people like that, I'm like, okay, well, the rumors could fly around, right? Like if that person is alive, they're very old, because I remember her on shows like I don't know, like Green Acres and like way back, old, like this chick was old when I was a kid. And so I don't remember her ever being young, to be honest. It's like Milton Berle.
yeah.
They're just
But
old the whole time you knew them.
there is this questionable video out there. You could probably type it in on YouTube and just type in Joan Rivers still alive, and you could find something that
Yeah.
shows this lady that has like the same voice, and I mean that's all. It's all questionable, but there's the same thing with like Michael Jackson,
Yeah.
being like looking like that burn victim on the news or it was some show. I don't know if it was the news, but
Oh,
Michael
then
and
Joan Rivers was very young. That's what I meant to say. Cindy was saying that she was my age, and I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, no, Joan Rivers. That's right. I was thinking of somebody else, Zsa Zsa Gabor or something like that. I think
okay.
that's who I was thinking of. Hey,
Hi
Camo, what's
Cindy.
up, brother? Sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, what's up, Camo? What's up, Cindy? Can't
Yeah,
see the chat, but I can see the small chat right here.
you said hi to Darlene already. Who else is here? I don't know. There's 10 in the chat, but I only see like 5 people in there.
Well, I love you all. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, I mean, we have kind of a tight group, man. I'm like it goes in ebbs and flows, right? Like for me, like sometimes it's a lot of work to hold it together, right? Like, people are very critical of me, like so it's hard, right? Because like sometimes I feel like I'm not doing anything wrong, but people will say you're doing this, you're doing that, and it's hard to hear criticism like that especially when you think you're doing good, right? But I try to like really focus on it like, okay, maybe they are seeing something that I'm not seeing about myself, and I need to work on that because if I'm doing something for God, I need to accept that I'm not perfect, right? And that like my way is not the best way, so maybe they're seeing something in me that needs improvement. But it's a hard way
Um,
to live. It's nitpicky, because it's a hard way to live.
yeah, I understand that, but dude, you're doing a great job. I don't care what anybody says about you. From what I know, dude, you have been so good to me. You've been a great friend. Always been like always like denied anything. Like if you sit there and denied a past and all
Yeah.
different, acting like you're perfect, act you're better than
Oh, I'm not
everybody. You
perfect.
don't do that. You
I
and you say
definitely.
it. You say it every time. Every time you
Yeah.
say none of us are perfect. Nobody is. So
Yeah.
people can talk as much smack as they want. They don't know you. They think they know you, but they don't know you.
Well, this is one thing that I have learned, right? Is that um, I don't know how to put it. Like if okay, so if you're trying to be good, right, and you want to have like a good reputation with people, right? You have to do kind of like the right thing a lot of days in a row, right? And then pretty much people will know you for being that, you know? Like, okay, that's how you develop a reputation is being what you want to be and just doing it for a long period of time. But there are going to be people that the better you get as a person, right? The more they hate you, right? And it goes like in reverse. It's like, wow, I've never treated anybody better than this person, and this person hates me, man. Or like I've never done anything wrong to this person, but there's something about them that wants to tear that down, or something, or I don't know, right? And I can't get into their heads as far as what it is that they're thinking, right? But I know this. Not only am I not perfect, I don't even know if I would call myself good. That's even feels funny to me, right? Like the channel's called Good Servant. It was two of us started it, right? And I was just going to be the servant, but people just started calling me Good Servant, and it just kind of stuck, you know. And I get it, right? And but that's uncomfortable for me, you know. And so, yeah, there's nothing that about my past that that I would deny, right? I think part of that like shows people that you can start from anywhere, right? No matter what you've done, right? Nobody is not good enough for God, you know?
Yeah.
And so hopefully, that's a good sign for people. And I always stress like I'm not a teacher, right? Because I've only been reading the Bible for 4 years, 5 years, right? Not a long time. But sometimes God gives me the ability to like kind of preach over my head, right? Like I'll have some understanding that'll make someone go, wow, okay. And I don't know where that came from. It's not something that I really worked to get, right? It just happens, and I'm just I try to be humble about it because I don't really know how it happened. I don't know how I got there. And so I'm grateful for that too. So, but like I try to tell people, there's nothing significant about me at all. Zero. In fact, I'm barely making it. And without God, I'm like without God, there's really no redeeming part of me. Like I'm just God changes everything.
Yeah. And dude, the thing is your actions speak louder than
Yeah,
anything. I
I think
mean,
so.
yeah, you say you're not a good teacher. Okay, say you're not a good teacher. You're a good team leader. You have a great
Yeah,
channel, great
yeah.
message,
Hey, there's
and
anti venom. Hey, Karen, how you doing?
hey,
I've been praying.
anti-venom.
I've been praying for you faithfully lately. Well, I always do, but more recently. What's hard for me
Anyway,
though, Chris, is like not to interrupt you, but what's hard for me is when I don't see somebody for a while, I start to think about them, and it weighs on my heart. Like I want to tell people that I miss them without pressuring them. Like it's like I'm not saying that I like you should be here, and I'm saying that I haven't seen you at my show. I'm just saying that like when you're not around, I feel you are a missed person. Like I miss you, your energy. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
don't know if that makes sense.
and that speaks about you. That speaks about you. I mean,
Well,
it seems like you care more about others than you do yourself.
that's true.
You're
That's
very
true.
selfless, and that's not a
Well,
bad thing.
I'll tell you what. Like okay. So before you got to the channel, right? And the people that were here before, they can attest to this. I was saying like the majority of the people we had were like middle-aged older women, right? It was the demographic here, right? And I was perfectly happy with that, right? But I was thinking, man, I want to reach some like younger men, like really want to reach people in that demographic. And then you showed up, man, and you like reminded me a lot of me, but you're like much smarter than I was at that age. Like even though I'm only 10 years older than you, I was real dumb at that age. And I'll probably 10 years from now, if there is a 10 years, think back on now as being stupid, like why did I open my mouth, man? You know what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah.
always embarrassed, like, in hindsight.
Yeah, well, hindsight's 2020.
Yeah. Hey,
We
I
all
thought that would
do.
be oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, no, go ahead. I don't.
I always thought that like 2020 or like numbers like that stuck out in like like how like they say hindsight's 2020 or Mayday or all these little weird sayings that stick out like that or 10-4, like numbers that mean things, stuff like that. I always thought those would be like dates like later in life, like, oh, 2020's got to be the end because hindsight, you're looking all the way back at the whole past, right? So
Mhm.
hindsight would be 2020, meaning you could see all of creation from 2020. I thought that would be the end, or 10-4, like August, like October
August
4th or something,
4th. Yeah, it's a it's a crazy world, bro. I'm in a mood tonight, man. I told you what happened earlier with my kid.
Yeah. You
Man.
gotta tell the audience.
Oh gosh. I picked my kid up from school and his teacher tells me that he told a girl to go to hell. And I was like, what? Yeah, told a girl to go to hell because she was screaming. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I see, and I don't know where it's got to be school or I don't
Video
know.
games or
See, I
something.
don't know any of the movies. Like, I can't say it's the movies he watches because I've seen all the movies he watches. There's none of that in there.
Sometimes
Um,
it's like this is just how they learn. They have to make a mistake to learn, you know? And as human beings, we have this natural proclivity to do the wrong thing, right? It's like stealing a cookie is more preferable than leaving it there, right? And so like there's just always this like urge to do that. So we have to make mistakes to learn. So it could be just some anomaly that happened.
I think he had heard somebody say that at school because I
Yeah.
mean, I know he didn't hear it from me. I would admit, like I would straight up admit if I've said that in front of him, but I know I haven't because I really, really try and watch my mouth in front of him.
Well,
I've
did you
slipped
talk?
up before.
Did you talk to him about it? Like, ask him?
Nothing. Yeah, and man, my son, he's not very open. Like he's not the most open child because obviously he's got issues because of his mom. He doesn't see his mom, and
Yeah.
it makes
Yeah.
me sad because I feel for him. I can't imagine what it would be like without my mom growing up, just being stuck with my dad and, not knowing what my mom's out there doing. I mean, he's got a half brother that he doesn't even know about yet that
Oh,
was born
heartbreaking.
just a couple months ago, was born not even a couple months ago. That baby's got issues because she was doing drugs when she was pregnant.
Oh,
And
so
I
you're
think the
kind of
baby
afraid
had
to
like
tell him. You're kind of afraid to tell him in case the
I
kid
am.
doesn't make it.
Well, he had the kid had stomach surgery. The kid also is staying with a family, so it's possible. I mean, she's not going to get her together anytime soon, so it's possible the kid could get adopted. But I don't want to keep from him, that he's got her. I just don't know how to go about telling him without making him kind of feel bad about it. You know what I mean? I
Yeah, he's not ready
bad
for
if
that.
my.
He's not ready for
I
that.
would feel bad if he started blaming himself. Then
Yeah, I wouldn't tell him. I would.
and
I don't think
he
he's ready
doesn't.
for that. But this is one thing I would tell you though is try to find a way to to keep in contact with that kid. Like find out the information you need to find out. if it's possible to even just in case later, right? You have to explore that. I would try to stay in contact with that kid if you could, you know.
Yeah,
It would be
yeah.
tough, but I mean, it's worth it.
My mom keeps track of that stuff. Like she she talks to Noah's great grandma on his mom's side, and he's got, oh my gosh, he's got about four grandmas, two great grandmas, two regular grandmas. It's crazy.
He's blessed to have that. I know that my parents stayed married till like 26 years they were married, and so I'm very grateful for that. Like, because my dad had addiction problems too, and um, he really, I mean, struggled through that to keep us together and to keep a job, and and my brother had cancer from when he was 8 till he went in remission when he was 15. And so, like, there was just a lot of stuff we went through as, when we were, um, in our younger, all of us in our younger years, right? But uh, having my great grandparents and grandparents, right, that was a big deal, because a lot of people didn't have that. And so it is cool to have a lot of like family like that, especially older generations, especially if they can communicate, because that's where you learn all your best stuff is from your grandma or grandpa, and they try intentionally to separate the generations through like different slang, different things are popular, right? Like they try to make communication hard between the generations,
Oh yeah, it's crazy because my grandpa, he's 93. The
Nice.
average the average person lives to be like 78, I think.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that, but I mean, I feel bad because my grandpa, he's ready to go. My grandma died when I was 15, but I'm 33 now, so in over 15 years,
Yeah.
and he straight up told me he's ready. He's like, I'm ready. He's like, I'm so sick of this world.
Right.
I can't blame the guy. Like, it's my grandpa. I love him. Like, I want him to be happy, and if dying would make him happy, then yeah,
He's ready to
by
roll.
all means.
It must be a
Mm.
good feeling to be at peace like that, because I mean I feel at peace like that, right? Like I'm ready. There's things I fear worse than death, that's for sure. Like I really don't want to be
Oh,
sick. I don't want to be like all in pain and stuff, right? But dying does not scare me at all. I mean, I know where I'm going. Maybe that's just he's just at peace like that,
yeah, definitely.
you
And
know.
he's
I
never
think
really been. Sorry, go ahead.
no, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say he hasn't always been a religious guy, but I know he believes in God. I know he does. My grandma accepted, Christ, and I know she always believed. She just they never really went to church. It wasn't really a thing for them. They just never did that. But my grandma did on her deathbed. She, accepted Christ, and
Are
I
you are
know
you
she's in heaven.
Are you able to send him like a text? Does he do texting or email or any of that? Like,
No, no, unfortunately, my grandpa is old school. He
so how
he still
often do
has a
you?
home phone number.
Well,
Like a
this is what I would do if you can contact him, right? Just say, "Hey, Grandpa, I want you to read Romans 10:9, and I want you to, I want you to do that." So that and tell him how sure you are about it, right? And say, "I want to hang out for eternity. It wouldn't be heaven without you." And
I'm going up
that's
there
what I
here
try.
in a few weeks. So I'm gonna take my Bible up there and
Yeah,
hopefully get. I'm not gonna preach too bad to him, but I'm gonna
yeah.
show him some things. Maybe highlight some different scriptures for him to just to read, for peace of, and
And then
some things to.
And then not only that, right? Like, even before you start, just say, hey, look, the only reason I'm even showing you this is just because I love you and I care about you. Like it, like my intentions for pulling this out is because I, I just want to spend more time with you. That's it. And I think that once people know that you're not preaching at them to tell them what to do, and that your intentions are like, it's like I'm doing this because I believe this with all my heart. I'm willing to die for it. And I want you to you know to be okay. And I think that that's probably the best thing you can do.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm used to I my mom talks to him every week, and
Yeah.
I say hi to him. When I go up there, I talk to him, and I'll fill him in on what's going on. What's going on in politics and all that. And shoot, there's so much he didn't know. I about how do you say it, Monsanto, and the GMOs in the food, everything from fluoride in the water. I've told him everything. Just,
Yeah.
but one thing I haven't is, I haven't busted. Well, that's one thing I haven't known.
Yeah. I think that
But
when we're on our journey of truth, right? Like we lose a lot of friends with all this, this divisive stuff, right? And we wear out a lot of family members with our stuff, right? But the
yeah,
ultimate the ultimate gold at the end of the rainbow, right, is the ultimate truth is Jesus Christ. Like
yeah,
once you find out that's real and that's an option that's available for you. It's like there couldn't be any better news, right? Unless you didn't want that to be true, then it's probably the worst news. I don't know, I still don't understand why people aren't more excited about that. Like there's people
yeah.
that will hate you just because you're Christian.
Absolutely. I mean, Chris Pratt. I can't unhear that. Chris Pratt supposedly a Christian, and he gets so much stuff. So much crap from everybody.
Yeah.
I hear. So I heard a joke. It was like a dad joke, and they were like, "Man, I hated him," and then you say his name slow, like Crisp Rat. Crisp.
Oh wow, and you can't stop
I can't
unhearing it.
ever unhear it. Yeah, I can't unhear it now that I heard it. Like it
Yeah.
was funny, but I don't know if the guy's really Christian or not. You know,
Who knows,
says he
right?
is. He's in
Like
Hollywood. He's in
this is
mainstream movies.
this is the way I look at it, right? If a person is in Hollywood or has a really big platform where they can like reach a lot of people, probably not. But
Yeah,
we'll never know what anybody's thinking, right? And what is in anybody's heart. I'll never be able to say no, that person's not saved. But there are a lot of people where I feel like they are because it's just the energy you can just tell. But I would never say
mhm,
that. It's not my job to judge that, right? But but in my
yeah,
in my opinion, right? My human opinion, probably not. Probably not.
yeah.
But you hope
Anyone
that
in Hollywood,
everybody, you know.
yeah, anyone in Hollywood, it's questionable. It's like,
It's hard to have anything in this world unless you sell out. At least, at the very least, sell out to advertising, right, and selling products, and you have to at least sell out to that, and at least have certain opinions that don't conflict with that. So if you're compromised in any way, right, that's a form of selling out too. And so it's not likely when you get to a real high stature in life, right? As far as because a person like that, if he said, "Hey, the Earth is flat," people would believe him. Like if you or me would said, "Hey, the Earth is flat," no, oh, look at this crazy nut. So to even get that amount of trust, to have that many people, they have to be pretty sure about you. And
yeah,
so it's
Absolutely.
disappointing because there are people in life that you root for. Oh, I want this person to be good, or I want that person to be good, or these songs have to be about God, or but you just never know, right?
Yeah. Hey,
Oh,
Teresa.
yeah, Teresa's here, and so is Emma Lou came in, and Camel came in, and who else was here? Shannon was already here. Yeah, we had a good show today. It's time to round out. They go by fast, huh?
So fast. Crazy.
Well, you're pretty good. You're pretty natural. I think sometimes I try to help you out when you don't need it, and it makes me step on your sentences. So
No, dude.
I
No,
just gotta have more faith, man. You're doing great.
you're doing great too, bud. You need to give yourself a little more credit. I get
All
it.
right.
I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
You're a bit hard on yourself because I used to be the same way, and I still am to a degree. But I love you
Yeah.
guys. I love all of you. Thank you, Steven, for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely,
And
man. All right, guys. God bless you. I love you guys. Praise Jesus for his sacrifice and his grace. All glory to God. The only reason that my life means anything is because of him. He gives me hope. He gives me, um, I'm sure you guys can relate to that. Well, God bless you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 7 a.m.